Hello. So for now, for today, I will be discussing Module 3. This is supposed to be Module 3. Under Module 3, we have three lessons. The first one is the work and employment transform. Lesson 2 is the digital divide. And the lesson 3 is the interactive media and mass self-communication. So this is all comprises for the Module 3. And I have uploaded this in your Google Classroom also. So work employment transform. So let's further discuss what's with the work and employment transform. So in globalizing the process of production of goods and services, thousands of jobs, particularly in manufacturing, have been eliminated either by automation or by relocation to countries where wages are low. So work and employment transformer most likely deals with uh, the amount of goods and services that have affected because of globalization, particularly because most of the jobs now, especially those repetitive jobs are most you can find those jobs mostly in the manufacturing, in the wholesaling, those type of business descriptions. So instead of they hire people to do it, they automated it to make it fast and to make it error free. And then some of the work and employment have transformed early also because some of the manufacturing or the distribution of jobs have already sent through the other countries. So let's say, for example, in the US and in the China, most of the assembling the manufacturing of the products that was supposed to be made in US are already made in China. That's precisely because of the wages. The wages in China are more affordable, or it is more low compared to the US. So that's why most of the big companies in the US have have their have their manufacturing or the manufacturing of the raw products sent to the other countries, which they can save a lot of money. And then we also have some of the work that have affected also. It was transformed because we are actually entering into the fourth industrial revolution, which we call it IR 4.0. So IR 4.0, one of those are the automation. When you say automation at the workplace, it can be beneficial to the workers, for instance, not having to do dangerous work anymore, and there will be fewer injuries to the job. This is mostly, or this has happened mostly under manufacturing department, wherein most of the job that is hazardous, or most of those repetitive jobs that was supposed to be manually done by the employee will be automated by mechanical automated. So the automation or the robots will be the one to do those jobs. So although this also raises several questions, because if we automate those jobs expectedly, we are actually eliminating jobs for the normal people that do the job originally. So how are we going to mitigate this effect? So how are we going to at least automate those repetitive or those hazardous job, but still give a job equally to the people? So what do you mean by capital inherent contradiction? So capital inherent contradiction most likely involve the the wages of the people who works in a certain company. So how are we going to give those wages, or to give what is due to the people? We're in automation, and then those import of jobs have already take effect on those companies. So let's deal with what is the fourth industrial revolution. So when we say industrial revolution, we call it IR, industrial revolution, IR 4.0. So our less glamorous industries 4.0 is said to be driven by the set of technologies, notably including AI and the Internet of Things. So what do you mean by 4.0? So actually here in the Philippines, we are still in the 3.0. but in Japan, they are already practicing IR for 5.0 or the Industrial Revolution 5.0 because most of the processes there, most of the companies, most of the government agencies have actually automated most of their job. They have they are actually, when it comes to technology, Japan is the number one, but worldwide, we are actually practicing Industry Revolution IR 4.0, especially in hotels, in airport, in transportations, and so many other things. Like when you go to train buses, or like that, everything is actually automated. Like you don't have to give the exact amount of money or the physical money. All you need to do is to do the card. So that's part of the automation. So 4.0, it refers to the new phase of the Industrial Revolution. So it is actually level. We have IR 1.0, IR 2.0, 3.0 until now. Presently, Japan is practicing 5.0 already or applying 4.0. So it refers to the IR or the Industrial Revolution that focuses heavily on interconnectivity of things, or the automation, or the machine learning, and then with the real time data. And then 4.0, especially when coupled with machine learning and AI or the artificial intelligence, will substantially change condition for workers. Although mainly because of the IR 4.0 or the automation, the fewer many jobs will disappear actually, because those jobs that actually done by a normal people was being replaced by a robot, or was being automated already. Many repetitive tasks will shift from manual labor into automation. So let's say, for example, what are the example of those? So connected appliances. So this is actually part of the industry 4.0. We're in, or yeah, let's say for example, the smart TV. Smart TV, you can actually, before, our television is only for viewing channels, and that's it. But now we can actually watch YouTube through our television. We can we can navigate our phone through our televisions, and then we also have smart home security system. Now we don't need to have security guards in our those big houses anymore, or those big companies. All, especially with the security system, they have built-in security system already, wherein they can monitor the peripheral, or the surroundings, or the locations of that certain place without using human, or without interventions of human. They can all just watch CCTV, and then they can actually monitor it through the net. And then we also have wearable health monitors. So those are also part of Industrial 4.0, wherein it can actually monitor kanang murag relo gali, wherein it has a fitness watch, wherein it can monitor how many steps you have done already, or what's your blood pressure, what's your heart rate, and so many other things in just one watch. And then we also have smart factory equipment, wherein especially kanang the picking of fruits and vegetable na, instead of before, that is actually most of the common job of the Filipinos and abroad. But now, since automation is already applied, so instead of picking the fruits by manually, it was already picked by the uh, automated, or the mechanical thing. And then we also have wireless inventory trackers. Before, we manually count the amount, or the physical counting of the inventory of the whatever company is that is, if it is a hardware, or it is a grocery, or whatever. Before, it was being manually count, or at least uh, but now it is already digitalized, wherein you just use the QR code by that certain inventory. And then we also have speed wireless internet. Before, we only have home broadband, but now we have fiber optics and so many other things. And then when you went to certain agencies or sectors, we also have biometric, wherein the biometric now is not just done by thumb. You can actually use the the physical thing, the whole body. And then, what do you mean by what are the example of the Internet of Things? So, Internet of Things, these are the network or physical objects or things embedded with electronic software, sensors, and network connectivity. Most of you have done the no, not most of you, all of you have already undergone the embedded of things wherein you embed the internet, the hardware, the software, the programs into one certain machine, small machine. So those are the Internet of Things. So when you say Internet of Things, we have some real example of the IoT or the Internet of Things we're in. That machine or that certain things was already embedded with the Internet of Things to make it function. So wearable fitness and trackers wherein you can track everything from just by your hand. That is actually uh, example of IoT. We also have voice assistant if you are familiar with Siri and Alexa. So they are also the IoT. There's an example of IoT. We also have now the smart cars, the Tesla, wherein you don't need to drive it. You just asked her to drive from somewhere and then navigate lang niya through GPS. And then we also have smart appliances or the iRobot wherein they can help you do the cleaning in the house or basta some sort of that. And then we also have rapid deployment coming into contact with multiple IoT devices. Every day is actually in just seconds or minutes. Everything is unfolded with so many things that pertains to the advancement of technology. So that's it. That's IoT. And then we also have here the pyramid architecture of cyber physical system enabled manufacturing system. So this is most likely how the architecture or how the the manufacturing applied with automation or with cyber or technology manufacturing system. We have the first one is they have a smart communication level wherein they can plug and play. This is more on the connectivity, and then we also have data to information conversion level. So whatever data they have gathered, that will be multi-dimensional data correlation, and then we have the cyber level and then cognition level, and then the last one is the configuration level wherein it can self-configure for resiliency. So whatever happens with the manufacturing, it will automatically uh, kung pwede pa pwede siyang ma-autopilot, and then we have self adjust for there are certain changes, and then self-optimize for disturbance. So it can actually think of its own if it needs to optimize its functionality. And then let's proceed to what is AI. So what's AI? I actually downloaded a video. It's still running up to now. It's way back. I think more high school pa ko ani wa pa mo nataw. It's AI, it's artificial intelligence. I just want you to realize that AI has been here in it's already existing even before pa mo nataw. It's been a long time. This is one of the my most favorite movie. So every time if someone will ask me what's your favorite movie, this is my top of the list. So I have uploaded it in your Google Classroom. Hopefully it will get through so that you can watch it later. So what is AI? So it's a branch of computer science and IT that concerns the theory and development of computer systems that can carry out tasks that normally requires human intelligence. So most likely AI, when you say AI, it's concerned with building a smart machine that capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. So it actually sometimes it actually replicates or simulate or replace human intelligence in machine. So there are some example of AI. So later on you can understand what's AI all about if you watch the movie, because in the movie there are a lot of things that human do that actually a robot or an AI can actually replaces those tasks. So we have some of the example of AI are Google AI powered predictions, wherein it can predict what will happen in the future when it comes to illnesses and so many other things. So sa inyong simulation, I think na ani sa inyong modeling and simulations wherein there are a lot of data sciences that actually you can use to create certain AI AI studies. And then we also have ride sharing apps like Uber and Lyft. Uber is actually part of the AI wherein everything is interconnectivity with interconnectivity when it comes to real-time scheduling. And then we also have commercial flights use an AI autopilot. Yeah, in the plane. This AI autopilot and then spam filters wherein kung maka-receive mo sa inyong emails is actually even before na ano ni when you receive emails automatically the email provider like Yahoo or Gmail will actually direct the email there in your spam if that email address is not registered in your email. It will automatically put in the spam or in the trash, and then those email that registered within your address, it will automatically sent to inbox. So those are filters, and then we also have smart email categorization. I don't know if it is being applied already, but if you have predetermined your email, which is this comes from, it will automatically, let's say, in the school, this your email address will directly be added into this school. If it is friends, if it is from other groups of yours, and then we also have plagiarism checkers. Yeah, this is actually example of AI wherein if you have fun watching YouTube, automatically magawas ni siya nga mga advertisement wherein they can actually check the grammar of whatever works you have done. It may it be documents or any types of sort of documents. They can actually check for grammar. Grammarly is one of the example of AI. And then we also have robo readers and then mobile check deposits. Now, before it's really impossible for you to do banking without going to the bank physically, but now you can do bankings at home. You can do whatever you want. You can do it whatever time you are free. Let's say if you want to deposit, if you want to send money, you can do that without going to the bank physically. So that's AI. And then in Facebook, you can actually, there's a lot of embedded AI in the Facebook, like the tagging and so many other things when it comes to Facebook. Like when you are most of the time you connected with this members of yours in the Facebook, most of the time you can read that in the timeline. But for those that you are not connected with or not fond of having exchange of communications, you seldom see them in your timeline. So we have robots. So robots are also speak to the imagination and fear that humans have and have features prominently in popular culture. So if you're going to watch the video, you will appreciate the AI and the robots. So there are three laws of robots. The first one is a robot may not injure or a human being. Now, if you are the programmer, if you are the analyst, or if you are part of the group who will create AI and then apply, who will create robot that's related to AI. These are the things that you need to put in mind. The first one is the robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. That is the first one. The second one is a robot must obey the orders given it by human being except where such orders would conflict with the first law. The third one is a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. You can understand this again by watching the movie. So you have to watch the AI movie. So new job. So it doesn't mean that we are entering into the industrial revolution 4.0 and then we have automated some of the job and then we have imported some of the job to somewhere else where wages are low. We don't create jobs anymore. There are new jobs because of automations, because of we are entering into IR 4.0, may it be 5.0. There are a lot of jobs that is being offered also in order to support those changes of technology. So the network society also may be attributed with job generation to it generate jobs as well. So sharing economy like making the apps, but I guess these new jobs brought a lot of uh, computer science with a skilled when it comes to programming and so on. And then they're the one that to make the software, the finally the entrepreneurship like let's say Lazada, Shopee, and all are part of the industry revolution 4.0. So it create jobs actually. Now instead of having kanang tindahan yun, all you need to do is to have an online store. So it creates job. Like YouTube, there's a lot of bloggers now who are earning millions of money because of that technology. So it creates job, not just a typical job, but a job that it you can actually control it by yourself. You have no employer. You are the boss of your own. So that's the new job that we have created, especially the cyber job, the online job. And then we also have the digital divide. So when you say digital divide, it refers to the disparities in the penetration of the information society in terms of access and use of information and communication technologies. So digital divide is actually evident. Let's say, for example, we have a hard time accessing to internet because most of the time, or not really most of the time, let's face it, we are actually in the layo ta sa prioritization when it comes to physical access of the digitalization. We don't have the high end facilities in order for us to access the internet. We also don't have the infrastructure for us to make it possible. So digital divide is actually a social issue referring to the differing amount of information between those who have access to the internet, especially the broadband access, and those who do not have access. Let's say, for example, sa Cebu, Manila, Davao, those have actually high connectivity, whereas here in the provinces, we don't have. So that's digital device. The the availability of the existing ang technology, but the availability differs on the economy, differs on the places you've been to, differs on the economic status of the people lives in that certain na lugar. So it also says that they are deprived in the gap between those who have access to the information society and those who have deprived of such access. We have gap in education because people are actually daghan siya disparity. So location is one of the one of the major reasons for digital divide, the rural and the urban. So when you say rural, kita diri, this is actually rural. Tagbina, Barugo, that's rural. When you say urbanized are the city. So of course, uh, the priority when it comes to access to digitization, may it be internet or may it be the facilities, is the urbanized area. And then we also have the gender, maybe. And then we also have the race, of course. US or Europe is the number one uh, when it comes to the priority when it comes to digitization. And then the Japan also. The South Africa digital divide grows out of our history division historical backlogs for large groups of people, especially that South Africa. Because there are places there nga bisan pagkaon maglisten sila how much more the internet. We'll just proceed. So this is the world internet usage and population statistic as of June 30, 2018. So this was excerpted from the screenshots. I just get it from the internet world stat. So these are the populations, the internet users. So let's see, the Asia is the most. Out of the these are the what you call the continents. So we have Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, Middle East, North America. So we are in the Asia. North America is the US. We have USA, and then Oceania and Australia. So the highest is the Asia. That's why most of the celebrity comes to the Philippines, because Philippines are most known for the internet usage. It's actually high. And then Africa 2018 population internet statistic. These are the places that belongs to South Africa. These are the Algeria, Angola. So these are their distribution. And then we also have, yeah, this is especially dangerous in the context of rich and poor countries. It creates the notion that rich countries have reached the final destination of information utopia. When you say is the limit of the information. The interactive media and mass of communication, the third lesson. We have the again just a little recap. We have the first one is the work that's being transformed because of the automation, because of the changes when it comes to technology. The second one is the digital device now. The last one is the interactive media and mass of communication. So when you say interactive media, these are most especially talking about the World Wide Web and how it offers interactive communications. So we have the Web 2.0 and then the 3.0. So when you say 2.0, it describes the World Wide Web's websites that emphasizes user-generated content. So usability and interoperability, it is not technical update, but rather refers to the emerging way in which the web is used. This is more on everybody can use it. Everybody can give content, everybody can share content. Whereas the Web 3.0 is an extension of the web standard by the World Wide Web Consortium and refers to W3C vision of the web of link and acknowledgement. So let's continue. Internet layer, these are the horizontal, the summary of internet governance bodies and how you are going, what are the kung di pyramid pa ni, what are the ways or the processes or the procedure in order for you to create an internet, in order for you to the layering. So the first one is the infrastructure. So what's the layer function? It enables the actual connections between network devices. Who is the responsible? So the government, the national government, the private telecoms firms. So infrastructure is what are the things, what are the physical things or materials that you need in order for you to create, or in order for you to have an internet, in order for you to have that connection. Protocols, these are the languages used by device to communicate over network. So this most likely is the procedure or the protocol in order for you to create a connection. Up, the responsible persons are the international engineering, the consortium groups. So protocol, these are most likely the the requirements, let's say kung kuan pa mga permits and so many other things in order for you to legalize your application. And then application is there as the tools which allow people to make use of the network, private commercial software firms, open source software developers. So if mo ni siya matawag nga uh, applications wherein if we are going to download a certain applications, these are the drivers. So mo ni siya mga software to make that connection or to make that application works. And then the last one is the content. So this is the actual materials that people see, read, listen, download, watch, and interact with other connected to the network. So the content of that layering of internet. So concerning body are the private internet service providers, so PLDT, Smart, and so many other things. So many other people that responsible for that content. And then we also have net neutrality. Some of these that are I haven't read na lang because I already have the copy, and then it is actually self-explanatory. Net neutrality refers to the principle that all data that all data packets all present over the internet are treated equally, of course. And then we also have two social spaces in the web. So there's a lot of social media now in the world in the web, and these are uh, most used and abused social media. So we have the Facebook. This is actually 2015 by the South Africa, and then they are growing everywhere, including China and other developing countries. In countries where good broadband connections, there has been explosion of interactive computer and video games. So I know you are familiar with this, the World of Warcraft, which accounts for just over half of the massively multiplayer online game. And these are some of the social media that is actually being used in South Africa by 2015. So Facebook, 22%, YouTube, Twitter, WeChat, Mixit, LinkedIn, and we have Instagram, Pinterest. So these are the active users. They have 22, 13, 12%. And then by 2016, still Facebook is the number one, YouTube is the number two, Twitter, LinkedIn is actually included in the top five already. So these are most uh, these are the topic that is actually comprises the module 3. This is module 3. I hope somehow you understand some of it, and then if in case you have any questions or clarifications, let me know. And I hope you watch the movie because I'll be getting some of the questions in the movie since it can actually give you a glimpse of what's AI or automations is all about. It's an old one, but it can give you a bird's eye view of what we have right now. Thank you, and I hope you are safe and have a great day again.